I kind of really want to talk about Will Smith.
Okay.
I don't.
I like pretty.
Look,
Oh shit! These fucking Dr. Seuss ass rhymes, man.
man, that's very Dr. Seuss.
Shit.
I feel like they're not. It's definitely very. I went to the hat store today and I bought myself a hat type of music because it doesn't feel like there's a proper flow between any of what he's saying, and like he's kind of doing these like Kanye West, Drake, like I'll make you famous type bars, which feels weird for his brand because not to be the woke friend, but that's always felt like a weirdly kind of predatory type of bar, which is like, rap has way worse shit than that. But Will's always been like you were having fun at the barbecue type of music, So
he's trying to make it woke simultaneously too. That's the thing. He's like all
women are beautiful.
All women are beautiful. Like
all women are legitimate. All women are legitimate, like prospects for being taken advantage of in the music industry.
He's like, I love pretty girls, and all girls are pretty. You know what I mean? It's wild.
I'm willing to make a sexual exchange for power with any woman because all women deserve upward mobility.
So the reason why I want to talk about this is because what was that that video he dropped where he's like rapping in like the backseat of his car, like just riding around Philly?
Let me see. What should I search?
I thought that shit kind of went hard in a old man. I'm retired and I still kind of just love rap kind of way. I'm also one of like 5 people who really liked his last. No, that's
that everybody.
Not that one. Yeah.
Who's saying jokers? What's why are we still doing that? That's crazy.
That's kind of fire. But like I actually liked his last album decently. Not that one, but like the one with Switch on it, the one with Party Starter on it. Like, and even though Party Starter had some bars in it, but the word on the street was also that somebody ghost wrote that for him.
That's fine.
There was
you get there was rumor that
Ludacris wrote. Yeah, there was rumor that Ludacris ghost wrote that, which kind of makes sense. But all that to say, I think there's a place for him to get his dad rap. I'm 50. I just want to play around. Like I think he has that cachet in the entertainment industry to kind of do that and make it something that moves a few units and does enough where he can scratch that itch.
Is it this one?
This shit is that one. This shit just seems fucking horrible. This is just bad all around. Like he needs to, and I think that the way to do it, and I know everybody says this, and I'm not going to be unique when I say this. He should just make his fucking his 444. He should just do it. He should do it.
Honestly, I think
just lock in.
But I don't know. Okay, one, I don't know if he's got it in him to do that because I feel like 444 was very like, oh man, let me tell you about the world, including but not limited how to make generational wealth and how Jews run everything. Like that's what that's what that album was, and a lot of people want to hear that because it's good it's good old head barbershop talk with a little bit of wisdom and a couple of I don't know about that type of shit in it. I don't know that Will Smith has the cash to do anything like that. Like what would he talk about? Like I think that he's got like, hey, I'm super successful in this industry. I made a ton of movies. I'm like one of the most successful like rapper actors of all time. No, I'm the most. Cool. I don't know that there's much with his style music to be made there. He could if he transforms, but I don't know what that new brand would be.
I think if he transforms, given the fact that they've already done it, I think that he has a conversation with Jada, and I think he makes an album about how that situation like impacted him. Because
I don't know if you can make a cut
444.
Jay-Z was the one who cheated. I feel like that you can make that album and people will buy it.
Fair enough.
If he comes out and says that he fucked Margot Robbie, then I think he's got an album people will buy.
I think he can make an album where he goes through a progression of his thoughts that's more similar to say like Lost Ones Jay-Z.
Okay.
I think he can 100% I think he can 100% do that. I think I get why he doesn't want to, because I think he feels like his brand, or I'm talking like I fucking know Will Smith, like me. I'm just like fucking chopping it up.
Come on, man.
I'm
We
I'm
industry niggas,
assuming,
bro. We are industry
yeah,
niggas. We know him.
100%, 100%. This is industry AI.
Mm.
I think that if I'm Will Smith, I'm thinking that my brand has already been hurt enough by that whole situation.
Yeah.
As not even the fact that it just happened, but also both of their responses to the situation. So I kind of want some distance away from it. But I 100% think that he could give me fucking an album that's fucking 10 tracks long, and 3 of them are just like Will Smith's Lost Ones, and I'm like, okay, cool, got it. Let's ride.
What would that cover for him specifically? Like, what would the content of those tracks be?
So they've already hit it that he did dirt. So when they did their Red Table Talk, I think he could hint around that a little bit. I think that will get the people going, get the people
Yes.
talking about the shit. Again, he could talk about his feelings on why this happened. He could talk about why they grew apart. He could talk about the stress of the industry. He could talk about the stress of being a married man with money. Like he could talk through that, and that could
Yes.
get him 3, maybe 4 quality fucking tracks
Okay.
that people
Yeah,
will be
I'm
like,
with you. There's
oh yeah,
content
man,
there.
I'm riding with Big Willie on this shit. And then he do a couple dance tracks that somebody else other than him wrote. Like he need to call like Vince Staples or some shit.
Yeah.
And just like, get one club hit in there for the barbecue, for the old
Man,
heads, for the Tom Joyner Morning Show cruises or whatever. And I think he got something there.
I,
But this
I
wasn't that.
I don't. Yeah, I'm just because I'm thinking about that Weight Watchers documentary that he did a few years back, and I'm like, I don't think that he's got the like when Will does serious, somber, and sad, with the exception of 7 Pounds and Pursuit of Happiness, which maybe is an indication that I'm wrong about his range here. But when he does serious and somber, it just doesn't generally fucking hit. Like, with the exception of those 2 movies, every serious role that he's done has kind of been middling to trash. And when I think about him trying to be like vulnerable to us and share his reality, it comes across as like just too goofy. And it's his reality. It's honest. It's cool, but it's still goofy, and nobody wants to listen.
Mm-hmm.
So I think because we all experience sadness. Like, it takes an artist to be able to transmit that into something that people want to actually fucking listen to. So I just don't. You've changed my mind about him having material. I don't think that he's got the voice for it, and no matter
Yeah,
who's voice for him.
that's fair. And I do think hopping in between like a comedy kind of serious thing is something that you have to cultivate very specifically over time.
Yeah.
And to your point, I do think it will be difficult for him, but I also think that, and I wasn't one of these people. I want to be very clear about this, because Jay-Z is overall my favorite rapper. He's not my favorite active rapper, but his body of work is
Okay.
my favorite body of work. But there were a lot of people who thought that Jay-Z couldn't make 444, for example,
Fair.
right? There are a lot of people who heard Magna Carta Holy Grail and were like, he's done, he's he's never gonna be what he was. And there are a lot of people who view 444 as a transformation,
Yeah.
and not even necessarily a resurgence, but a transformation.
This is a
So
new
I do
person.
think
Yeah.
so I do think that maybe there's some space for it, but I think that, to kind of to your point, does Will have that in him? I don't know, because it's very difficult to do that. That's
Yeah.
why people praise Jay-Z for it, because it's hard.
Because I'm thinking about it, and okay, one, I was never a Jay-Z fan, but I like 444. Like that's where I started listening to him, where I was like, oh, I like this. This is like it reminds me of like Gil Scott. It's like it feels like this spoken word. Here's what it is to be this Chuck Bukowski, grizzled up man sitting with my decisions. Here's what I can tell you about reality. It's tough. It's hard. I've cheated. I've lost. I've made money. I've had children. I'm kind of grizzled up. Here's this in a format that historically has been built for young men to be sparkly. And this is not sparkle. And I was like, fuck, love this. But I can't think of anybody else who's done. I mean, I'm sure maybe you've got examples, but I can't think of anybody else who's done an album like that where I was like, with the exception of Gil Scott, but that's more spoken word than it is rap. Though I mean, arguably you could say that Gil Scott is maybe if you wanted to stretch the definition.
Yeah,
Outside of that, I don't know who else is doing that.
I would say Nas
Okay.
probably is probably the best example. And let me think, because I think it's a very interesting question, and I'm
Mm.
off rip. I'm struggling to think of anybody who's done it
Right?
that's not JC. That's not JC or Nas, and I think some of that is the fact that rap is still a relatively new genre. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about the first Grammy winner for best rap, for best rap album.
Yeah, fair point.
In this segment, right? So
While
it's
you're
still a
thinking,
very new genre.
I will tell you that the only other person that comes to mind immediately is, well, Cuddy's not quite old enough for this, but he seems like he'll be able to. I
Yeah.
predict that Cuddy will be able to. The other person is Jay Electronica, but it's hard work squeezing a full album out of him. But I was listening to the tracks Better in Tune with the Infinite, and I don't know how you pronounce it, but Apida, APIDTA. I don't know what that stands for, but it's him and Jay-Z, and it's from their album. And I was like, fuck, this goes crazy. Like, just a rap album that's just about what the experience of loss is. And crazy bars from both of them. And I'm like, yeah, both of those respective Jays could do it. But Jay Electronica, I don't. Yeah, it's hard to squeeze work out of him. But he's surprised. Like his most recent 2 albums, after a few listens, I'm like, no, he actually he was not the disappointment that I think people thought after waiting so long after Exhibit A and C.
And I do think that Jay-Z is kind of the blueprint for like the aging rapper, because one, for rap, especially when he came in, Jay-Z didn't break until he was 27. And he
So he was
was
already kind of
27.
old
He was, especially for rap, in the
at that
mid
time.
to late 90s, right? People were like, "Oh, you're fucking almost 30 and you're rapping in like the mid 90s." Like it was crazy that he was doing that. So
Right.
it was that era where it was the mafioso. It was I'm a black mobster. That was his initial kind of thing, with like the semi-rapid flow and all that kind of shit, reasonable doubt, that kind of stuff. And then he had that detour where he was talking about like his struggles in Marcy, and that's when I fell in love with Jay-Z. So like,
Mhm.
You Can't Be Life is one of the greatest rap tracks ever. Just 3 verses from 3 motherfuckers, just like their pain on the track. I remember listening to that shit as like a 9-year-old, almost in tears. But and then you get into the flashy kind of, that more blueprint era, show them how to move in a room full of vultures, that kind of shit. And then you get again some of that more introspection from a Black Album where he thought it was going, and then you go back to I'm a gangster, but I'm a black gangster kind of situation. So I think Jay-Z kind of gives the blueprint of how you present yourself differently based on what you've experienced, even from an industry standpoint. Can Will Smith do that?
No,
Because it's not easy. If it was if
man,
it was
no.
if it was easy, we're
Yeah.
when we're talking about something that like that people are doing, we're talking about some of the best to ever do it in this
Yeah,
conversation,
man.
right?
Because
Is
Will was
Will Smith
never
that?
Will wasn't the greatest rapper when he was at his peak of rapping. So
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
come on, like, no, I don't think he can do this. Yeah, the more we've talked about how difficult a task this is and how singular Jay's achievements in being able to recraft, because the other thing is, fuck rap. In general, people don't give a fuck about middle-aged stories. Like
Yes.
to do a Breaking
Yes.
Bad is or even a Sopranos about an aging gangster or an aging middle school teacher who goes to make those stories, or to make a story about an older woman or whatever. Like those are already things that people in film and TV, they're the best of the best, are busting their asses to be able to make and push to get funding to tell those stories. So
Yes.
somebody's going to do it in rap, and it's going to be Will Smith. No.
I'm kind of with you.
Yeah.
I'm kind of convinced.
Sorry, Willard. Sorry, Willard.
Yeah.
We're not.
Willard.
Yeah.
But also, just speaking on the track itself, Will, it's just awful, man. You could do better than this, man.
Horrible.
You
Horrible.
could do your
Garbage.
Carter 6, Will. You could do your Carter 6. This is me, Stephen A. Smith, and to the audience at this point. Will, where's my camera? Fuck. Will,
Yeah, talking to you.
you can do better than this. I'm not saying that you're gonna make 444, but you can do better than this shit.
Yeah,
I've heard you do better recently, Will. I've heard you do better recently.
Will needs to do what Ethan Hawke has done. He needs to become. Well, to be fair, he tried to do that and it still didn't work. Like the grizzled motivational speaker shit. I don't know. I just don't think there's a place for Will Smith anymore.
I think there's a place for him.
I don't think he's done anything good.
So
In the last 15 years.
Here's the only thing that I will say.
Have you played the new card game yet?
I haven't.
The question is, do you want to do deep or do you want to do dumb, Alvin?
Let's go dumb. We've been doing a lot of deep shit recently.
Dumb? Okay.
Let's keep it light.
What's your wildest fictional hear me out? I feel like you thought of the answer and was like, I can't say that publicly. And then so you had to jump down to number 2 and 3.
I have a very clear answer, but it's because it's a it's a real life hear me out.
Okay.
In a fictional character body. Hela from Thor Ragnarok.
Is that Kate Blanchett?
Yeah,
you do have a Kate Blanchett fetish. That's true.
I have a Kate Blanchett thing.
Why Kate Blanchett specifically? Because you don't generally have a white woman thing. Is it?
I don't.
Is it British?
I don't. I really don't. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Is it because she seems powerful? What's the? Is it because she's a little bit intimidating? She seemed like she could squish you a little bit. Is that the idea?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't explored that fully yet, but maybe. Now that you mention it.
Have you ever been stepped on by a woman in heels?
I have not.
Okay. Try that out. Get back to me. I feel like that might be good for and I know you don't like therapy, but I feel like that might be good for your mental health. Just try that out.
That might just be the therapy that I need.
Honestly, it's acupuncture and it's fucking, affirmations. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Mine will probably have to be
I think me and you are fairly aligned with that. I would wonder what people think. Because you gotta also think about it, man. This man won an Oscar, like 4 years ago? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I didn't even watch that movie, so fair point.
So some people may think differently about his catalog of, looking at the wide berth of his talent. So I do want to put that out there. And I didn't think he was particularly special in King Richard for the reasons that you called out. But historically, even in serious films, even films that I like, it's hard for me to. Will Smith doesn't immerse himself in the character, right? I'm looking at it because there have been situations where, and my best example, and I always go back to this one, but it's a good one. I, as a person who has studied Malcolm X's life extensively as one of my heroes and one of the people that I looked up to, one of the people that I indirectly credit to getting me where I am today, wherever that is. I'm not saying.
No, we know you at the top of the hill. It's okay.
But I look at fucking Malcolm X, the movie featuring Denzel Washington, as a person that has studied Malcolm X extensively and knows what Malcolm X looks like. I have to sit in my mind and separate Denzel Washington as Malcolm X from the actual fucking Malcolm X, because that's how fucking well he played that part.
That's Denzel.
Will Smith has never.
Yeah.
Exactly. But that's my point, right? Will Smith has never engrossed himself in a role anywhere near that good. Like, I'm looking at Ali, and
what'd you think about Ali? Yeah,
I like Ali as a composed bite, but I'm looking at that and I'm like, man, look at Will Smith doing.
I got to go back and watch
Muhammad Ali impersonation.
Right, he's
look
doing
at him. Look at him talking like Muhammad Ali versus like I'm looking at Denzel and Malcolm X, and I'm like, that's fucking Malcolm X.
No, Denzel's Malcolm X is fucking crazy. It's actually crazy because. No, I don't even think that we should be bringing that up as an example because Denzel did something crazy there because they took a dark skin. They took a dark skin to put a goddamn Wendy's goddamn red wig on his head and said, "This is Malcolm X." And Denzel acted so good, it was like, yes, it is. Not even like this is Denzel acting. It's like, that's him. This is Chicago Red. Holy shit.
First of all, the motherfucker was Detroit Red. What the fuck was that?
Oh, sorry. Damn. That's
Anyway. So
that we got
hey,
we
man,
got to
cut
edit
that
that
out,
out
man.
because that's fucking up
I
all
know.
my credit. That we got to edit that out. That's the AI hallucination. We got to take that out. Oh, I hate that. I read the autobiography and
no.
everything. Goddamn.
Again, this will probably get cut, but I know like you're actually like low-key a Malcolm X scholar. Like that's come out on several occasions. But Mario Van Peebles actually did in Ali
Yeah.
did a amazing Malcolm X portrayal. And he also fits the bill more physically because he's a light bright like nigga himself.
Yeah.
So it kind of fits better physically. But again, like you can think of, and I think I lean toward Malcolm X because I think that our audience will probably understand that reference a little bit more. But like there are so many examples of actors that just like blend seamlessly into that character to the point where, you know, I'm not looking at, you know, this role and seeing the actor. I'm looking at this role and I'm seeing the character. Will Smith doesn't do that for me. He didn't even do it in King Richard. But I think that I don't know. Maybe sign off in the comments. We may be different there because again, the man did win the Oscar, and I know Oscars are political, but
that's why I'm going like because yeah, he won the Oscar. Who gives a fuck? I haven't heard anybody say anything about King Richard after the fact. I don't see clips posted from it. I don't see memes made of it, and I know that maybe seems like a frivolous measurement of a movie, but I think for every great movie, and that goes from like blockbusters down to like niche art films, when there's good scenes from it, people clip the shit and talk about it, and they go, "Hey, here's something that happened. Here's what I think about this 30-second moment in this film." For the most niche movie that you ever think of. So, and I don't see that for King Richard.
I also think there are levels to that though, right? Because there are some movies in that realm that dominate a social media sphere. So I'm thinking about Everything Everywhere All at Once. Dominated social media.
Yeah, very medium movie for me.
Yeah. I liked it, but I didn't think it was worth all the attention.
It felt like a very long Rick and Morty episode, and I love Rick and Morty, so I was like, yeah, great. But I don't know why y'all like it.
But and then I think that there are movies that also got the awards that didn't get that, despite the fact that I think they're a better movie. So like I look at Moonlight, and I know there are some people that are divisive on Moonlight, but like I fucking loved Moonlight.
Moonlight was crazy good. Personal. But I have heard that Moonlight
very fucking personal
was black queer cinema for straight people. I have heard somebody say that. I don't know if that's true though.
I didn't. Yeah, and I've talked about it, on here specifically with Moonlight. Where I resonate with Moonlight is his relationship with his mother. That's how that shit hit me. I wasn't even looking at this like, oh, this is straight versus queer cinema. This is like, man, his mother's fucking horrible. My mother was also fucking horrible. Let me have a little moment here based on this shit and how this impacts me as an adult. So, but all that to say is like, I think that movie was great, and it didn't have that same impact as Everywhere, Everything, All at Once, which was every fucking where. So that's all true. That to say, because you didn't see that response to King Richard, which I agree, I didn't see it either. That doesn't mean that it wasn't a banger. It wasn't all this to some people, even though it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me.
I don't know because there's a difference between not as much and none. I haven't seen anything from King Richard.
That's
Moonlight. You see clips all the time. Like you see
that scene clips, at the end where you walk into the diner. You see that shit all the time. Like the way the way he plays the music.
Yeah, when the light skinned dude starts cooking for him in slow motion and shit. When they fucking hold hands on the beach, like you see, even the hallway scene with old girl who was the pirate who played the mom, like when they're like coming into the hallway and it's red light behind her or whatever, you see that scene pop up all the time. So I don't know, not necessarily compelled by that argument, but I will say, do you have any
Edward? You know, it's one of my favorite places to go.
The graves of your enemies.
100%. But a strong number 2 is the barbershop.
True.
Right? And I think that encapsulates the feel that we're trying to get from this podcast. It's a community. We're here to tell you that you can take that community home with you. We've been kind of chopping it up, experimenting with some different formats. But if you like the long form content, that community is a place where you can get access to it. You don't just have to watch the 15 to 20 minute clips. You can watch the full hour 30. You get 10% off of our new card game In All Seriousness, which is double the cards, double the fun. Also, as a part of the community, you become a part of our inner circle. You can join the Discord. get some barbershop talk in you, have some conversation with like-minded individuals,
You.
mostly sane, a bit eclectic. Your boys in and out of there,
We're a little
but
weird.
it's
That's true.
we're a little weird, 100%. But it's become something that we're very proud of that continues to grow, and so make sure that you're locked in and take advantage of the opportunity to take the barbershop home with you.
Do you give any credit for characters that aren't where the person that they're portraying isn't so famous that we care to check the accuracy, and it's just like, yeah, you did a good iteration of this person inspired by? Because I think of Jesse Eisenberg's Mark Zuckerberg, phenomenal. I think of Ethan Hawke's Chet Baker, crazy good. And I think of Will Smith's old boy from Pursuit of Happiness. I thought was great. Do you give credit for those? Oh, and Fassbender's Jobs, killer.
So I do give credit for those. I'm trying to talk about your point and not your not your examples, but because like
why? Because Jobs is famous.
No, it's so like the one that gets me is like I love The Social Network, but like Jesse Eisenberg didn't do a good acting job in The Social Network.
You out your fucking mind.
That was
bro.
No. So think. Let me
I'm gonna think in my brain. Ask me the question.
Yeah, like this one thing, right? And then I want to get back to your major point because I think your overall point is good.
No, I'm with it on the tangent.
But on this tangent, Jesse Eisenberg, the way he portrayed Mark Zuckerberg is every Jesse Eisenberg character outside of Zombieland. Think about every Jesse Eisenberg character you've ever seen. The speech that he does in Social Network to kick it off, where he's like, "It's raining outside." And he goes on that tangent about like, I have people working on shit that you guys can't even understand. That is the exact same thing that he's done in every single Now You See Me movie. It's the exact same way he portrayed Lex Luthor. Like he does that in every single one. It's like like Benedict Cumberbatch. No, I'm right on this one. Whether or not that matters is up for debate.
No, because I've watched a lot of Jesse
like
Eisenberg
Benedict
shit. And I'm not saying it. Lex Luthor, right? Was completely let's not go to another example while you're trying to make this example. Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor is not anything like his fucking Mark Zuckerberg. And what was the other example that you gave? Now You See Me. It was much more. I'll give you. It's clever, quippy, like Jason Bateman style shit. But the like depressed, clever, whatever thing was not there. And Jesse Eisenberg has done a whole bunch of roles that are his fucking what's the one with Kristen Stewart where he's in the CIA or Roger Dodger. He's much closer to Michael Cera than Jason Bateman in most of his roles.
He does that, and that's why people like him again. And I'm drawing a parallel here because Benedict Cumberbatch is the same way where. He's the same character in everything, but that character is a good character, and there's no shortage of need and desire to see that character. So people like it no matter where they place him. Jesse Eisenberg does the exact same shit in every single role. I'm not saying I don't like it. No, I'm saying it fits.
I'm with you. I'm with you with the general like value of that kind of actor because Denzel largely is that. Giancarlo Esposito has become that at least recently. Jeffrey Wright has become that at least recently, even though the latter two have a huge range that's basically untapped in modern cinema. But Jesse Eisenberg, I would agree, is that just not in this example. Now, I agree it's a subset of what he's doing, but I would say his Mark Zuckerberg is like as far away from his general archetype as Denzel's Malcolm X is from Denzel's general archetype, which is to say, it's not like as far as, Captain Jack Sparrow and fucking the number 23 or whatever that fucking corn movie was with Johnny Depp. But it's like, yeah, this is a type. And then you've kind of specified it out pretty fucking far.
Yeah. Secret Window.
Yes.
Number 23 was Jim Carrey.
You're right.
But I was with you.
Yeah. No, I like the fact that you followed that fucking frantic goddamn mind map to where I was going.
Yeah, but your general point of giving people credit in those type of roles, absolutely. I think you got to give them credit for those kind of things. So like, I loved Will Smith's portrayal to kind of bring it back to that core topic in Pursuit of Happiness. I think he did a very good job in that. Even though I'm looking at that and I'm like, man, Will Smith is crushing it, right? You know what I mean? Like he still didn't absorb himself.
Man,
He
the
still
Fresh
didn't
Prince of
absorb into the
Bel-Air
character.
is doing such a convincing poor person. Wow.
That's what I'm saying, man. Like,
Yeah.
god damn it, man. Like fucking, you know, Mike Lowry is crushing this shit right now.
Wow. This actor, this rapper turned actor, he's really good at this role. Somebody should put him in more movies. I can't wait for the next Men in Black movie.
Absolutely. 100%.
It's a red flag.